some crazy tattoos on some crazy people. You know what I mean? Like in Chicago, the clientele is a little wild.
Well, wild out there, right?
Ran into some of the people in the adult industry and stuff like that. So
Without so many words, I understand where
yeah,
you're
for
going.
sure. So I didn't dabbled in that. So I feel like art wise is the black and gray realism. But outside of what I'm doing, I feel like the people that I'm doing is probably more interesting right now also.
Also, that's what's up. Before we go any further, man, I just want to cheers to your success, brother. I just want to thank you again.
And I appreciate you having me on the platform.
Absolutely. So, so we're still in Chicago now. Tattoo is still the main focus, but you're growing more branches on those trees.
Right.
You touched on clothing line that you're trying to work on. Doing different flyers, stuff like that. Anything that you see coming to fruition, like in an early base?
So I in Chicago, my roommate is Jet May. He's a prominent artist out there.
Okay.
So our biggest project, without leaking too much, is we live in this kind of like bar environment in our house. So it's kind of like a lofty, quirky type of space. So right now we're just making a lot of art right now because what we want to do is we want to kind of get more into the fine art world. So what we want to do is create an immersive experience where we live in order to have, the hip people of the neighborhood come through, do walkthroughs, buy art, buy our merchandise. So that's kind of like my biggest project right now is trying to get that off of the ground, lend ourselves to like, social media pictures and stuff like that, just so we can kind of get our name out there and, just make cool art and make, statues and
love it,
anything
man.
that people can buy to enhance their life, their house.
Yeah, because art is the expression of life, you know what I'm saying? And people have different types of sculptures, different type of paintings, in their homes, in their offices and things, and it just brings about different emotions, what I mean, when you see those. Where does your inspiration come from? Whether we're talking about tat, just say I call you for a tat and I'm like, yo, you know what? Just do you. You know what I'm saying? I give you a little idea, but just do you. Where do you find that inspiration? And painting as well, not just with tats, but painting, sculpting.
Well, it can be different. So tattoos, I think that you probably want to start from the actual human that's asking you. So you wanted to kind of, that's like a nuanced area because the person has to like it more than the actual artist.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I kind of start there with tattoos, but after that, personality, what they actually ask for, that kind of inspires me, and then also whatever I think is cool. As far as like fine art goes, literally everything is inspiration. So I feel like a lot of people overlook the inspiration in their life. So I don't want to sound too cliche, but when you go outside, you look at the sky, you look at the trees. If you don't take those moments to just inhale, exhale, and really get it.
Appreciate what's
because
going on.
I'm a firm believer in God being the greatest artist. So,
the creator of all.
Yeah. You can't get the detail that he got. You know what I mean?
I can
You
dig
can
it.
try, but it ain't going.
That's a deeper way of thinking too, because
Right.
everybody doesn't think that way. Everybody doesn't look at that and say that this is where I can find that inspiration. Look right there at that camera, man. Tell them where they can find you, KyleWow, right here. Tell them where they can find you with the, how they can get in touch with you, email, cell phone numbers, anything.
So you can follow me on all platforms at KyleWow. That's KyleWow. You can email me at KyleWow1000, which is my email at gmail.com. And you can also just call me. My number is pretty much public. It's 856-469-1368. Just hit me up about your art needs. If you want to have a tattoo consultation, we could schedule something like that, and we can just go from there.
I might have to put a little tattoo party together right here at the crib, man. Before you leave,
we could do that.
I got a couple people that I know will get inked up, man. So we definitely gonna wrap offline. Couple more questions before we log off of here. Support systems. Talk to me about your support systems, man. You talked about the co-parenting earlier, how much your mom and dad was an influence, you know, friends, teachers. How important is it to have that strong support system behind you?
Oh, it's everything. It's everything to me for sure. Even right now, when I come to New Jersey, I'm, dealing with going to my mother's house. And, it's not easy for her to have people, coming in and out of her space for, what I do. But she's very supportive. She understands, So right now, she's probably, the number one supporter. I've got to go back and say, just for being a dad, I got to shout out my dad. Even growing up in Wilmington, Delaware, from cousins to friends, and seeing them growing up without it, and seeing the hurt that they go through on a daily basis of, not having that structure. Because, my dad was stern for most part, and growing up, you don't understand it, you don't like it, but, as an adult, I definitely appreciate it. And then one thing about Chicago is I met more so my art circle. Working at 9 Mag, I met about 30 different artists. Being in this area, sometimes you can feel like, a big fish in a small pond. You don't only got to do that. Right. You know what I mean? So going there and being able to relate to those people, having those people to talk to about, the pet peeves of tattooing and being able to relate like that, that's, been a big part of my life right now.
And not to steal your joy, but while you're on that, you mentioned the small fish in the big pond, going into a upper echelon of an environment like that, you already know what you're getting into.
Right.
Knowing where you came from, was that kind of, were you kind of starstruck? Were you kind of nervous?
It's a challenge.
How was that?
It's still a challenge to this day. So right now, I've built a core clientele out there, so I can take care of myself pretty well out there, but it's definitely a competitive nature out there. Like if you are just tattooing, it's not enough.
It's not enough, right?
You need to actually be touching the people. You have to go out. You got to be social. It's a city, so you could easily be overlooked and forgot about out there. And half of me wanted to kind of compete more, because that uncomfortability is what's going.
It's what's going to drive. It's going to keep that hunger alive for you to continue to strive. Always something new, knowing that you can't get complacent in what you do, because you shark food. You shark food if not. We talked offline before we got on camera, about the community and, just being here, and how much of an impact you could have. What are some of the things that you want to give back to the community, even still being in Chicago, but what are some of the things that you're trying to work on?
So I would like to have, I don't know if we could call it like an art career group, or, I would like to give people the tools to make the choice, just like, Miss Stum did for me. You know what I mean? She put me in front of the art college books. She showed me artists that were living, working artists. So I would like to be that for them. And I would also like to, create a group where we could just create together. You know what I mean? Shout out to Travis Gibson. He's doing the murals thing. Keep going, brother. I love it. You know what I mean? But, that's something that I would like to get down with him and help if I could, schedule some time and then, stick around.
So listen, we putting that notice out right now. We are challenging, our Pennsgrove Borough. We are challenging our Cornish Point Township. We got somebody that's looking to help beautify our communities by doing different things. So I'm challenging you guys here in the community to reach out to Kyle. He's already gave his number, to try to make some things happen, whether it's in the classroom, whether it's outside the classroom. Let's give these artists a brand new canvas. Let's, somebody that has tapped in to a new market that is able to give back. Let's go ahead and challenge them so that we can collectively come together and make it to our community. Kyle, future goals. Where do you see yourself, man? What's on the horizon without you giving up too much tape? I ain't gonna ask you to expose everything, but some things that you got on the horizon.
I would say my biggest goal is probably the freedom to create. Sometimes I have an idea and, having something to stop you can also stop that inspiration to be, keep being an artist.
I like it.
So I want to, with all the things that I like to do, whether it may be, fine art, whether it may be sculpture, whether it may be fashion, I wanted to support more projects, honestly. I can't see myself just being like, I want to get to here and then I just want to chill out.
And then I'm good from there.
Yeah,
we're going to keep riding the escalator.
I want to keep, I feel like I've been blessed with a billion ideas. So any given day I have a spark. It's like, oh, that's crazy. I wish I could do that, So I want to get to a point where I can do that when I think of it and,
Well, my prayer for you, man, as we've been sitting down talking, and even before this live, man, is to one day, whether it's me coming to Chicago, LA, wherever you are, and I'm walking through your studio, man.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? I'm walking through your studio where I'm seeing paintings, I'm seeing sculpting, I'm seeing people getting tatted in the back.
Man,
whatever.
Bro. Maybe
hey,
we
listen,
need it right
listen,
here.
Maybe we can go ahead and orchestrate that too, man. I would love to, see that happen and give an art community. Right. You know what I mean? Give something, after school programs for the kids to come in and let their artistic ability, just run wild, man. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, you are live with Dowe each and every Thursday night at 7 o'clock, sitting down with someone who has their own small business, someone who has a testimony, or someone that supports a nonprofit. Well, tonight we are sitting down with none other than Penns Grove, Cornish Point native, non-mag, black ink tattoo artist. My man, you already know, Kyle Hickman. He's here in Penns Grove for, would you say how long? How long you here?
I'm in here for a month, so August 13th.
So listen, you better book the appointment now. You better hit him up if you're looking for some art, man. Hit him up. Let him know. Got the own clothing line, the one of ones.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Upcycle.
Upcycle. So don't be surprised if you see live with Dowe in something. You know what I mean? Rocking out, supporting.
Put that together.
Put that in the making, man.
Yeah.
Kyle, man, it's a blessing, man. I appreciate you having you here, sitting down with you, man, unpacking your journey. And I'm sure we could sit down for hours and keep going. But just to give them a little taste. Again, tell them where they can find you, telephone numbers, emails, let them know where it's at.
All right, so you can follow me on all platforms at KyleWow, KyleWow. And hey, if you need a tattoo, if you want to do any type of art consultation, you can text me or call me directly at 856-469-1368. And
listen, once again, ladies and gentlemen, I would never end a live without giving a shout out to my photographer, man, my videographer behind the scenes that's making all this come true, man, Mr. Lucky Shots himself, man.
Goated.
So if you're in need of a photographer, you're in need of a videographer, any type of thing behind the camera, man, that is the man to go see. What we're creating right here is a business Rolodex of like-minded individuals. Kyle, before I let you go, anything you want to shout out, anybody you want to shout out, any last words to anybody that's watching?
Well, I guess I'll just end with a little think piece because, being an artist, sometimes you can, or a lot of times you can be inside of your head. You know what I mean? Sometimes you think you need everything to be perfect in order to start. So I just want to talk to the people and let them know that little by little you can figure it out. So don't wait, don't overthink, just start. It's greater lessons in the mistakes that you will have in the journey than overthinking, because you'll never get started. It'll never happen. So I just want to leave people with that. There's a million things that I could say about myself that make me not get up and do what I got to do in the morning. So think about the things that you love and what makes you happy, and just, focus on that. Get started today. Don't wait.
Live with Dowe, KyleWow, behind the camera, Lucky Shots, man. 3 business owners in one. Yep. How you love that, man? Love, peace, and happiness. My man.
Thank you, bro.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for being here, man. Love you, peace, and blessing. Absolutely. And we're out.